Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's the Political Brown Kid here. And I saw this clip of Tamron Hall's show about her and a panel of people talking about dating apps. And I just kind of want to break this down a little bit. And I'm not going to break down the whole entire video because I'm trying to keep this relatively short. And I know probably my feedback will probably go longer than what I hope it would, or, just from providing feedback, I'll try to be as concise as possible. But just to kind of give people a premise, or just an overview, Tamron Hall is talking to these individuals. So there's a white female on the panel, and there's a black female, and then there's a black male. The white female is in a relationship, but I think she's a writer, and she wrote this article, and they're just kind of talking about, dating apps, and I guess, everybody's crapping on dating apps, and so they're just kind of getting these individuals' feedback. So this is the one thing that I'm going to say right up front. Life and products that we have are what we make them. You can say just how they say, pew pews. I hear a lot of people use that pew pew, and I kind of like it. That signifies, a weapon. What a weapon, the one that fires projectiles, and so they can't say that on the internet, so they just say pew pews. But the classic saying is that pew pews don't off people, but people off people. That's the old saying. If you don't know, look it up. But I'm pretty sure older people know what that saying is. And it's the same thing is true too. Technology is what we make it. The internet is what we make it. You can go on YouTube, you can go on social media, and social media is what you make it. You're either going to be watching videos on investing and learning about investing, or learning about religion, learning about, I guess, different cultures, and just understanding what people are doing over in different, that don't live in your part of the world. You're either going to be looking at stuff like that, or you're going to be on the internet just providing pure hate, pure foolishness. You're just going to be twerking. You're going to be flashing pew-pews online, and talking about, you're just going to be flashing money and how much money you have. So life is always what you make it. And so people keep crapping on dating apps. And I'm not trying to totally absolve dating apps, because trust me, I've been on dating apps, and I can tell you firsthand is that it's amazing as how as soon as I log in or sign up for a dating app, all of a sudden, I haven't even posted a picture, and all of a sudden they're telling me so-and-so likes you, and all of these people like you, but they got the faces blurred so I can't see them. So then you have to pay just to probably find out that these are just probably some bots that, they assigned to come and like you. And then as soon as you try to interact with those people, they don't hit you up because it's fake. And, so there are certain downsides, but for the most part, a lot of these apps are what you make it. If you don't like people online, you're probably going to have to say, well, what is it about me? Do I just have high standards? Or am I being unrealistic? Or what is it about me? Is my profile jacked up, as far as writing and so forth? But I just want y'all to kind of check out what they're going to talk about. And then I'm just going to kind of respond. So here goes.
So that's real talk. You deleted it and then you got back on because you felt it is the best option.
It still does feel like the better option, because meeting people in real life is not as easy as I feel like it used to be. And then also I feel like meeting people on dating apps, it should be a place where we are all here to find love.
So I just wanted to respond real quickly to what she just said. She said that she's back on dating apps. This is the black female, as you can see. She's basically saying that before she was saying that she got off dating apps and people applauded. So that's what you all missed, because I'm editing this video. And then she let everybody know, but just to let you all know, I know y'all applauded me for getting off dating apps, but I'm back on. And she's basically saying that it's the most efficient or most beneficial option, because meeting people in real life is hard. Now, I'll agree with her on that. But we have to also ask ourselves too, why is meeting in real life hard? And of course, fellas are going to give you their answer. Women are going to give you their answer. I can only speak from my perspective, because of course, women are always going to crap on men. But the online dating, and I totally agree with her, because it's really almost like a marketing platform. You're basically saying, hey, here I am. if you're on this platform, you know what everybody's on here looking for a significant other, whether it's for a temporary relationship or whether it's for a permanent relationship, whether it's just to fool around or whether it's to be serious with someone. So you know what you're on there for, and then you can add criteria and filter things down to say, these are the people that I want. Hello. And then those people should say back, hey, I'm looking for the same thing you're looking for. We should be compatible. But it doesn't work like that because, once again, and I'm going to say it from my perspective, the women are super picky. And you're going to find out later on in this video, you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. The women are being super picky. It's not the men. The men are saying, here I am. But the women are saying, we don't want you. And this woman, the black female right here, is complaining. She's saying that the guys that she likes are behind a paywall. So why don't you pay? Once again, the women want, it's kind of like this. Women always want to go to the club, but they don't want to pay to get in. Women always want to go and do things, but they don't want to pay. They expect everything to be given to them for free. So once again, if this woman is saying that the guys that she desires are behind a paywall, then why don't you pay to get on the dating app? You can't have everything for free. But also, too, I can tell you right now, I've seen a lot of women and thrown my hat in. Like I told y'all, I used to swipe on at least 500 pictures a day, every day, just swiping. And I could probably get maybe a reciprocation once. I probably get maybe 2 women every month and a half. Every 6 weeks, I would probably get someone would reciprocate my like. That's pathetic. When you're swiping on 500 a day and only maybe 2 women come back at you, I consider that to be pathetic. Now, when you're looking at, and we'll talk about that in a minute because she's going to kind of address that, in regards to men and how they take pictures. So we'll talk about that in a minute. But then also the other thing, as far as people meeting in real life, the unfortunate part about it is you all know that when you're young, you're in the streets. You're at the you're at the mall, you're just out and about. You're on college campus, and college life is probably where you should definitely be meeting your significant other, but you're doing more networking type of stuff when you're younger. When I'm 45 now, when you get older, you're pretty much work, home, work, home, work, and home. And then occasionally you may go out, but when you go out, like I told y'all before, that was a part of my depression too, because it was like when I got up and when I felt like saying, hey, I'm gonna give, real life a shot because that's where I had my most success at in dating is in the real world. When I got quality women, I would get dressed, throw on my best colognes that I bought, and then I would throw on my best clothes, make sure your hair cut, make sure you're looking right. And from 10 o'clock in the morning to pretty much 10, 11 o'clock at night, I was out and about, just hitting and not clubs and all that other, but just doing stuff in life. And sometimes that's mindless, it doesn't work out, but I'm just out and about and I don't see anything. And then the few women that I did run into, they didn't want anything to do with me. But I told y'all before, at my job is when I had more success because on my job, because those are the people that you see every day. Women, I had actually 2 women, give me their number and make passes at me. And they were nice looking women. One of them just didn't work out because like I think I told y'all before in that video, I'm not going to go into that, but very nice looking women. And they gave me their information. But I just wanted to address that part of the video. So let's just continue.
Deja posted a video on TikTok about an interaction she had with a guy that she met at a music festival that really opened her eyes about the big problems of the app. Let's play Deja's video.
I feel like a big reason that a lot of these dating apps just are not going to work for most people, especially women who date men, is that most of these men are not marketable on apps. It's hard to like a man through a screen. They don't know how to take pictures. Their sense of humor rarely ever translates. I went to a music festival and I ended up meeting this guy and we hit it off really well. And he was like, yeah, I swiped on you, but you didn't swipe me back. So I said, let me see your profile. I looked at his profile and I was like, yeah, I would never swipe on this profile. I know exactly what I did. These pictures are hideous. The bio is completely empty. I would never go for this. But meeting him in real life, I'm obsessed with you.
Okay.
And there you have it. And that's what I've been saying. And if y'all have been checking out my previous dating comments, this is what I've been saying. And I'm not going to totally dismiss what she's saying, but this is the problem that I'm seeing. Well, women, it's a catch-22 with them. When they go out, they're too afraid to go out by themselves. They don't want to go out by themselves. Like I told y'all before, if you catch a woman, I used to see it all the time. When you see a woman, as soon as she gets off the bus, she's going to pick her phone up. She's getting off the bus and she's got a phone in her hand and she's immediately calling somebody to talk to be her escort or entertain or keep her company until she makes it home. I see it all the time. Women are always anytime they're going from point A to point B, they can never just be like, okay, well, I'm just going to walk and just look available. They're always doing something else, or they're always being escorted by someone else. So that's a part of the problem. It's, this is where I'm blaming women at, because they continually just never seem available. They're always in groups. When they go out, even when they go out to a bar, they're always like 3 and 4 and 5 deep. And then they wonder why no one's talking to them. So that's a part of it. That's number one. And then the other, so you're not out here in real life doing anything. You're out here in real life. If you decide to leave your home, because most people aren't leaving their homes, most people are in the house. And if they're not in the house, they're out, like I said, with a bunch of friends, or they don't look available. And we all know that women are not great at making choices when it comes to dating. They're just not, especially being visual creatures. You're trying to take a woman. Women are not visual creatures. Women really operate best in real world situations where they can meet a man, just as she said in this video, just as she said, and I've been saying this all along, a woman needs to physically see a man in person where she can feel his energy. She can see what the height differentials between her and him are, see how they pair up well, together. She can get his sense of humor. She can get, a bunch of other senses about a man. I told y'all several times before, I have been most effective. I'm probably the most average looking man on planet Earth. I'm the average, probably even slightly below average, but I do very well in person. And I think, this is just my opinion, I think it's because when women meet me, they can say, oh, wait, he's not like the typical, especially we know nowadays, black women just do not like black men for whatever reason. But they can see me and they say, well, he's not the typical hood dude. He's not the typical, I guess I don't fit the typical pattern of, guys that they've dated before. And what I mean by that, I mean bad actors, the bad, actor type guys that they've dated before. They can see that I'm about something, they can kind of feel my energy. I think I'm pretty witty in public, so I'm very witty. I can hold conversations. I talk about different subjects, and I think a lot of women can gravitate towards that. So I do well when I'm in person. But when you look at my pictures, I'm just, you would be like, next. And that's the sense that she's getting. So that's why I'm trying to tell women, you have to, if you're going to be on a dating app, you can't expect a man to take glamour shots. We don't do glamour shots. We take regular pictures. Matter of fact, I had met with a dating coach before, and she gave me some advice, and I was just like, this is the worst advice I've ever heard in my life. And mind you, thankfully the session was free because it was like an initial consultation. And she was like, yeah, you need to take pictures where are your friends at? You need to be with your friends and showing people that you can have fun out in public. And I'm like, well, what is the purpose? People are you looking for someone to have? Like, I just didn't understand that. It's like, are you trying to have fun, or are you trying to look for somebody who's serious and like-minded, and a person that you can get with? But, she was telling me that, yeah, go to some sporting events and just start taking pictures. And I'm like, why am I going to be at a football game and then just stop just to take a picture and show the people that I'm in a football stadium. To me, I just think that that's the dumbest thing in the world. It may be cool for these young kids to do this, but I'm 45. I'm not going to be standing up here taking a picture in a crowd of people and having everybody looking at me like, why in the heck is he taking pictures? He's at the game. Why don't he just focus on being at the game? I think it's a dumb thing to do. That's just my personal opinion. Second of all, too, like I said, I'm an average looking dude. I don't like taking pictures all like that. I don't have muscles flowing throughout my body. I don't have a fantastical looking face. So I'm not sitting up here just trying to take glamour shots. And even if I did look like that, that's just not something that I do, or that I don't think that a lot of men do. We don't just sit around taking photos. And so our photos are just regular basic photos. I don't think that, and she's up here worried about lighting and this, that, and the third. I can tell you right now, half of the women's photos that I click on, they're not well lit. They don't write, and I've done a video too about this. Y'all go check my, let me just finish this thought out. But the women's photos that I look at, a lot of them aren't glamour photos. They're sitting in their car. They're sitting around in their house. They're doing regular stuff. Those aren't glamour photos either, but men know how to decipher. We know how to look at a woman's photos and say, I can work with this. We can look at a woman's photos. We don't judge a woman and be like, oh, her shoes are off. Oh, she got a smudge on her shoes. Oh, nah, I can't date. We're not overcritical of a woman's photos. All we're looking for to say is the front, do the frame look right? Does the frame look right? Does she got some nice little curves that I can handle or work with? And how does the face look? And then we're going to read the bio to see if she says anything. And that's the part that I'm going to get to right now. When women write their bios, I've seen women just say hello, and they'll just put that there. They'll just say, just trying this out one last time. They'll put that there. Or they'll put, this is my for the last time, and I hate that I have to say this, but if you look like this, don't talk to me. If you look like that, don't talk to me. And it's a whole bunch of what they don't want. They just get very negative. And if you don't believe me, go look at my archives. I've done a video on this. The video was probably at least 50 minutes long. It may even be over an hour long, where I'm literally reading and showing y'all women's profiles of how negative and how their content is non-existent. They expect us to be witty, funny, introspective. They expect us to have all of this stuff going on our page, but they don't do the same thing. Once again, like I keep telling y'all, women want to put in zero work. They don't want to pay for the apps. They don't want to pay for anything. They don't want to put time to do anything. They don't mind taking pictures. So taking pictures for them and posting pictures is nothing, because they take pictures all the time. Trust me, I've seen it. So, but they want to do the bare minimum, but they expect us to do all of the work. So let's get back into the video.
So Magdalene, again, you're in a relationship, but you're nodding yes because you're hearing that a lot from women. Thomas, you have an interesting perspective because as a coach for years, you have said men don't know how to present themselves on these dating apps.
Men, honestly, they have a hard time doing much of anything when it comes to putting themselves in position to find love. Yeah. Most guys will go onto a profile, they'll put, the shirtless pic, the bathroom selfie, the guy with the fish, him and his boys, and they'll think that, oh my gosh, I look great. But they're not thinking about what she's looking at and what she's looking for. Most guys are going to put out what they think how they need to present themselves best, but they're not even considering if that's going to attract the kind of person that they want.
I'm fascinated by that.
So I want y'all to listen to this sucker. And I hate to get rude and call people names, but he is. This dude has a pink headband on his head. And just everybody gets up here and, like I keep telling y'all, everyone panders to women. And I'm going to do a video on why women should not want this continuous pandering, because when you just become a continuous victim, it puts you in a position where you don't look at yourself and say, what do I really need to work on? You're going to become like the black race, period. Black women and women, period. You're going to become like the black race. When people don't hold the black race accountable and they just continuously allow you to just wallow in victimhood and you're a victim and you're a victim and you're a victim. You stay in the same position. You look, we've been talking about black people for what? Since black people got freed and unsegregated, and they still can't get right because black people, there's a lot of black people, and I'm not trying to say all, but there's a lot of population that just want to continuously point back to slavery, point back to segregation, this, that, and the third, and they expect someone to give them something. And women, you should not want to continuously do this because you see it now. You see all women just, they don't want to take accountability for anything. They don't have accountability, and then they get in these situations and all they want to do is blame everyone else for problems in life. And here you have this man sitting up here talking about men, what men fail to do. And I'm not trying to say he's 100% wrong, but notice how the women just sit up here and clap in the audience. Look at the feedback. This is also the other thing that I want to point to. Look at the feedback that he's getting just from saying men don't know how to take pictures. And the women are just using that as the excuse, like, yep, that's why I can't find a good man, because they don't know how to take pictures. Yep. Well, what are you doing as a woman to put yourself in the position to getting a good, decent man? What are you doing? You know, how are your pictures? He's basically, all he's doing on this show is just pandering to women and saying that men don't know how to find love. Men don't know how to talk to women or have conversation. And I can tell you straight up, I don't care if you are Chris Rock. There's no way in heck you can be funny on the internet in a dating app trying to text someone and get their attention. Trust me, I've tried it. I'm probably one of the more witty, conversational people in the world, but you can't have a conversation with yourself. Trust me, like I told y'all before, when I look at women's bios, I can be like, oh, I see you went to Italy, or I can see you went here or there. How did you enjoy your time? And if the woman don't want to reply, if she just views you as just being lukewarm, like they'll just be like, it was nice. And then she'll respond like that 2 days later. So at some point, when do the women get held accountable for them responding to men 2 and 3 and 5 days after the man initially made contact with them? When do women hold themselves accountable for only replying with one word answers like nothing, Spain, okay? And then you're like, man, that's like pulling teeth. But yet they're going to sit up here on this panel and talk about men don't know how to conversate with women. Men don't know how to hold conversations. So why is it that we have to lead everything? We have to do everything. We have to pull teeth in conversations to find out what you want to talk about. Now you want us to take glamour shots and go have a professional photographer to take the shots so we can have our fantastic pictures. It's not going to change things, because then once we take those pictures, then you're going to talk about, oh, well, he's wearing Adidas in his photos, and why doesn't he can't afford a pair of Nikes? Oh, look at this. Then you're going to talk about that. You're always going to have, as a woman, something to pick on. And instead of holding yourselves accountable, all you want to do, and this man, and I'm talking about this man too, because he's just pandering to women, and this audience is just eating it up, is they just want to point to what men fail to do, and they don't point to what women fail to do. And I don't understand the rationale between his conversation and men don't know how to take photos or talk to women. And I'm not trying to say that some men don't. Of course, but we can make the same argument about women. Some women don't know how to do X, Y, and Z, but the majority of men know how to talk to women. But it's when you get called a creep and a loser for so long, and when you have women, once again, like I said, talk to y'all like, look at you and look at me and make sure it makes sense before you approach me. What are we supposed to do? What are we supposed to do? And let me just say this too. I need to also add in this comment, because they talked about men and him taking bathroom pictures and doing this, that, and the third. You haven't seen a woman take a bathroom picture? This is what I mean by, selective, kind of what Chris Rock would say, outrage. Notice they're talking about the shots and what men fail to do. Men taking bath. You know how many women take bathroom pictures? Literally, I'm looking at 9 stalls in the background, and the woman is standing there taking a picture. And you could tell she's either at work and she's taking a picture in her bathroom. She's got on her business suit and she's taking a picture in the bathroom. Or she's out at a club and she's taking a picture in the bathroom. Do you know how many photos I've seen of women taking pictures of themselves working out in the gym? I don't want to see a woman working out. To me, I'm going to be honest with you. You want your woman to work out. That is true. But I don't want to see you like taking muscle poses. That to me is so dudeish. I don't need to see you posing like trying to curl up your biceps and trying to look like you hard or like, I don't need to see that. You work out, fine. Stop taking workout photos. But they take them at the gym all the time. They take pictures of themselves in front of the weights. Like got to show you that they're getting it in. They got their little workout gloves on. And they got the little, the little spandex, the little biker pants. I don't need to see all that. Just take regular photos, but yet they bash on men for taking photos. Women got to take photos. They don't talk about how women take photos with their back to the camera and then them looking over their shoulder. That's the typical pose, right? They want to show you what the package is, what they're working with in the back. They got to show, they have photos with them in bathing suits or lingerie. But men, once again, we don't beat women up like how they're beating up men on this show about a man taking pictures with his shirt off. I just find it interesting.
Guys are really afraid of rejection. And I agree. I think guys need to learn how to have more courage and develop resilience in the pursuit of love.
Right. And so does this AI help that or hurt that?
The number one question I receive from guys is, what do I say to her?
What do I say to her?
They don't know what to say. And I'm going to give you some numbers to give you an example of why guys are afraid of what they need to say to women. The average guy would maybe approach one woman, let's say a weekend. And let's say they started doing that from 18. So that's 52 women that they would approach a year. That's 520. I mean, that's a lot of, I haven't really met a lot of guys who've approached 1,000 women in their lifetime.
Right, I get that.
I would say in that same time frame, the average woman is approached by 10 guys on a weekend. So now you're looking at 520 men approaching them in a year, 5,200 in 10 years. So it's not so much that guys are inept because they are naturally inept. It's because the experience and the intelligence gap is so wide because guys don't allow themselves to be exposed the way that you guys are naturally exposed.
And once again, like I said, this guy, I don't think he knows. I'm not trying to say he doesn't know what he's talking about, but once again, I think he's pandering. He's pandering. You can tell with the little pink headband on that he's pandering. Here's what I'm going to say. Men, if some men, there are possibly men that don't know how to talk to women. I'm not trying to say that. There's women that don't know what they're doing in the dating world. But let's just go with the average male and the average female. The average man knows and understands rejection. We face it day to day. So that's not the issue for us. The issue is we receive a lot of mixed signals in this dating market. Unfortunately, we're receiving the mixed messages from both online and in real life, right? So what I mean by that is this. Unfortunately, when you're on the algorithm, and like I said, there's algorithms on any social media platform. When you're in the algorithm, you're seeing stuff like Cynthia G saying black men are dusty, or, black male babies should be, proactively taken care of. I'm going to say that for lack of a better term. And then you hear white women online talking about men suck and they're scared of men and how they're so scared, and some man was staring at them in a bar and it made them feel so uncomfortable and they were scared and they feared for their life. And then you hear women talking about they'd rather be with a bear than with a man. And then you hear so many women. I didn't realize women were afraid of men because when this was, now that I've gotten the internet, it's like women are saying how fearful they are of men because men can off you, like women haven't set men up to be robbed and worse. It goes both ways. You can debate what happens more, but that's like getting into a debate whether what was worse, slavery or the Holocaust. You can get into those type of debates. The bottom line is it happens. You know, men are just called creeps and all kind of stuff by women. If you know that if that woman isn't attracted to him, he's put on video for, you know, kind of trying to talk to her, you know, and she says that he's harassing. You get all of these different mixed messages, and then you have women tell you, don't approach me, but then you have another woman say, yes, why aren't men approaching? You have all of these different things going on. And then you have women saying, you know, look at me and look at you and make sure it makes sense. Why are ugly men approaching me? It makes me offended when an ugly man. And then we're like, damn, I don't even know if I should approach this woman. Like, what's going on? You get those type of reactions from men. And, you know, and then it's compounded by when you swipe on people and they're not reciprocating. When you swipe right on somebody and you don't get a response from them, then you, at some point in time, you say, well, dang, maybe a lot of these women are out of my league. Maybe I am that ugly joker. And then when you try to talk to people online, if they're not responding back, it reinforces certain feelings. And then also too, online, I don't care what goes on, but your initial conversation is going to be bland and lame. Because if you think about it, if you were out in public and you met a girl in public, the first thing you would say is, hey, how you doing? And then she would reply, fine, and you, what's going on? And then you'd be like, okay, yeah, well, you know, yeah, the weather's pretty nice. Yeah, so what you getting into today? What you getting? Oh, I like that dress. The conversation, it would be a lot of small talk before you built up to like, yeah, so, until you got into some real meaty informational stuff. There would be a lot of small talk going on. So when you're online, you're probably trying to operate like you do talk. You know, sometimes you have to cut out the small talk and get right to the stuff. Yeah, you do. You're not going to go back and forth with a lot of that small stuff, but you're going to try to converse as if you were talking in real life. And these women they lose interest fast. That's another thing, and I'm glad I brought that up because women will tell you real quick, I lose interest fast. And when they're dealing with 60 and 70 guys online, they don't have time to go back and forth. But whose fault is that? Maybe it's the woman's fault for accepting or matching with 60 and 70 guys at one time. And that's the problem that I've had with dating apps. I honestly, and I think the dating apps are trying to get, I keep telling y'all, I'm a very smart individual. I'm very smart. I thought about this 2-3 years ago. Because I said, man, if I would create a dating app, I would not allow a man or woman to match with more than 2 people at a time. She has to make those individuals have to make a choice before you can even be seen by other individuals to match with. Because once you start having people match and they have 50 and 60 matches, they can't converse with all of those people. You have to narrow them down and force them people to focus. Either focus on conversing with those 2 individuals or making a choice by saying, I'm going to hurry up and see what these 2 people are about. And then I'm going to either move on or I'm going to, settle in with one of these individuals. And the dating apps don't allow that. And so what I'm trying to say is this, when you got these women that have 50 and 60 likes presented in front of them, the guys only probably had maybe 2, maybe 3 likes. So we have all day in the world to wait for a response because we just like, hey, how you doing? But she has 50 or 60. And so and she's trying to juggle 50 or 60 conversations. And more than less likely, she's prioritizing those conversations based on looks. So she's like, okay, the top guy, my real cute guy, he's getting all of my attention. And the other guys I'll either just respond to be nice or I'm not going to respond at all. So I'm saying all that to say this is that, it's unfortunate that you have these panels and you continuously have people that just want to make men the problem in every situation, and no one wants to look at women and say, well, what are we doing wrong in the dating market? How can we get better? Because once again, I keep telling y'all, if you want to continuously play the victim, you're going to find out real fast that life is not going to change for you. It's not going to get better for you. You'll be saying the same thing that you're saying now. Just like black people, you're going to be saying the same, just like black people are saying the same thing, like how can we overcome and how can we get, better income. Why are we always at the bottom as far as salary, net worth, and this, that, and the third? It's because you continuously play the victim. And when you're a woman, if you want to continuously say, well, men are the problem in dating, men are the problem in relationships, and you don't want to look at yourself, at some point in time, you're going to look back and it's going to be 100 years from now, and your kids and your kids' kids are going to be talking about the same stuff because no one is willing to hold them accountable. So, women, you need to hold yourselves accountable for a lot of this foolishness and stop letting people like Tamron Hall and her audience and the guest on her show pander to you and make you think that the reason why you can't find love on a dating app is because a man's photos aren't bright enough or his photos aren't professionally done. If you can't look past the fact that his photos aren't in 4K, they're only in 1080p, and his lighting, he didn't use the blue light filter as opposed to whatever. If you want to focus on all of that and you're not focused on does he, how's his body shape? All right, looks all right. Maybe I need to see this man in person and he gonna look a little bit better. If you're not going to focus on that and try to actually get out and meet these individuals, then that's your fault. That's your fault. If you can't understand that a man can't be witty and entertain you in 140 characters, then that's your fault. So y'all need to get it together, not men. But this is all I wanted to say. It's the Political Brown Kid. I'm out of here.